Hello, my name is Dr. Mrs. Izuwah Doris from Our Lady of Guadalupe Health Foundation and Autism Center. Today is the last day of April, and I wish to use this opportunity and discuss some issues that still borders on transitioning because our children with autism really need it. I'm going to be talking about transportation. And you know that when it comes to transitioning, it's the movement from one stage of one's life to another. And when it comes to autism, it's a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects a child's ability to communicate, socialize with his environment, and at the same time makes them have repetitive, rigid behaviors. And all these three things could affect their ability to function just like every other person in the society. They just think differently. When it comes to transportation, you know that it means moving from one location to the other. Is transportation very important? Here? It's because our children need to move around in their community, in the estates, in the village where they live. They need to go to work. Remember, transitioning ultimately is to become independent as an adult. So they need to learn how to get to work. They'll need to learn how to get to school when they finish their secondary education. For those that were able to do that, they need to know how to get to their workplace. For those that are doing one form of work or the other. So transportation is very, very important. And you know that our children, they find it very difficult to transition, and that is why we need to teach them how to be flexible, accept changes, regulate their emotions. Because if you're going to use public transport, you can't just enter the public transport and start throwing tantrums. So they need to learn how to regulate their emotions. And you know that this transportation is so essential. Without it, it will be very difficult for someone to be independent, even if it's to, you can have the money, but you're not able to get a taxi for yourself. So that is why it's very, very important. So they can access fundamental services such as their post-secondary education, employment, conveniences, or if they want to go shopping. It's very, very important. So we need ways, strategies that we can that is very, very important for our kids to develop the skills when it comes to transportation, and for them to gain independence and greater access to a lot of things. And parents are very important. It would be difficult without someone guiding them, be it a therapist, be it a parent, be it a caregiver. So it should be part of their IEP even as they're growing up. I remember from OLG, we keep on saying that transitioning starts now. It's not when the child is an adolescent or 18, in their early teens. You need to start transitioning now, and transportation is not an exception. So when it comes to transportation, how will you start? For example, even at the age of 2, 3, 4, you can start singing the transportation songs. At least they need to know what the means of transportation are. You have by road, the cars, the buses, the trailers. It's good to use visual aids because what they see sticks better. So you need lots and lots of visual aids, use assistive technology, the computers, the televisions, even as you're driving. So we're in the car and we are moving. You know, you can turn it into a song if your child loves songs. So they need to know you can go by road using your car, your truck, your bus. They need to know that. And then the ship in the water, very important. You fly in the air, very important. So by the time they learn all that, and you can even use it to improve their speech, their communication. If they have so many words when it comes to transportation, is something good. Do you understand? And apart from knowing it, you can categorize it. These are for transportations. These are occupations. You know the way we categorize things, and you can use it in their intelligence, in their cognitive skills. By the time you bring out an apple, you bring out a shovel, bring out a house, bring out a car, you can ask which one is for transportation. And the child will choose a car because you have taught transportation. So it can help them think, memorize their cognitive skills. So everything is an opportunity for teaching a child skills. So by the time they learn the kinds of transportation we have, begin to teach the red, the blue, the green color. You know, the red says stop, the green says go, and the yellow says be careful. You know, you need to turn it into a song. In fact, if you go to Do to Learn website, they have a song for transportation entering the school bus. It's a beautiful song, so your child can listen to it. Then, secondly, you can teach them by the time they are 3, 4, 5. You can teach them how to cross the main road or how to walk on the road. You know, our kids, they don't look. Even in the house, it's difficult. They just zoom. They don't wait. They eat. They control. The self-control sometimes in doing things is no longer there. So you need to teach them how to hold, how to pause. You can even, if you live in a yard, in a compound with somebody else, you can go downstairs. If it's in your own house, you can still go outside. And then, so if you have a toy car, somebody can simulate, can model it, and they will drive past. And as they're driving past, you tell your son or your daughter, wait, look left, right, left, left, right, left. You have to wait before you cross the road. Look left, right, left. They have beautiful songs, social stories you can use to tell your kids. And it's something you have to do on at least once or twice a week, so that they will learn that you can't just walk on the road. Then in the evening, nothing stops you from walking on the road with your daughter or your son with special needs or autism, so long as they can walk. You can even go with somebody to help you if your child is very hyper or stronger than you. It's very important. For example, where we used to be in Abuja, one of the staff went out on a walk with one of the children, an adolescent, very, very strong. And lo and behold, on the main road, he just fell on the floor and started throwing tantrums and refused to move. So what we would have done, knowing that he could do that, was to go with another person. At least one person will hold the hand, the left, the other person will hold the right. Okay, so you have to move. And when you see a car coming, you exaggerate everything. You can say, wait, a car is coming. Let's wait. Safety, they need to understand the car is coming. Something is coming, because our kids, they just cross the main road without knowing. And as an adolescent, that continues if you don't teach them the right thing to do. So you need to teach them how to walk on the road. And it mustn't be a busy road. It could be in the evening. It could be on a weekend. Teach them that, because when you're no longer there, they need to still move out. And then I know, if you have money, you have several cars, nothing stops you or your caregiver from going to somewhere, from going to the market with your team, using either public transport or using a taxi or flagging down a taxi. If they don't learn it now, when will they learn it? From the age of 11, 12, even 14, even if it's once a week, or somebody should take them on a taxi, either to go to school or go to church or go to mosque or go to the shopping mall. Even if it's to use Uber, you can even teach them. I'm telling you. Let me tell you a story. There was an adolescent child with autism. He was 16 then, and he went somewhere with a caregiver, but he didn't want to go there, and he kept on saying he didn't want to go there, but they went there for therapy because it was after school. And lo and behold, the child just left the caregiver and disappeared. Everybody started looking for him, because he was emancipated. He actually took a taxi and went home because because he had this wandering tendency. So the parent had been teaching him for 2 years how to use a taxi. So he had money on him. He took the taxi, went home, and he called the caregiver. Please, I'm at home. Don't worry. So imagine if he wasn't taught. Imagine the pandemonium everywhere. Everybody was screaming. Do you understand? So you need to start teaching them, not that to want them to wander away, but in case they find themselves in a situation where they are no longer comfortable with, and they have money with them, which means you need to be giving them small pocket money, and they have money with them, and they need to leave that scenario. So they need to know they have to leave that place and take a taxi and go home. So thirdly, even in transportation, they must know where they live. Their address. You don't start at 10 years teaching your child where he or she lives. You start early so they keep on memorizing it. Even from the age of 5, my name is Ada. I am 5 years old. I live at number 20 Emehara Road. So even if they cannot pronounce it, keep on teaching them. For example, what if they get missing? They need to be able to say their name and where they live and memorize phone number in case they get missing. So they need to know how to get to the shopping mall. They need to know how to get to the market. They need to know the route to their school. It's very important. And then when they're now adolescents and post-secondary education, no matter the vocational training they're doing, they need to know how to get there. Somebody has to teach them that. Then what about the cycling? You can also cycle on the road. Some people can use bicycle, bikes, and go to their workplace. So you need to teach them how to cycle. It's very important. It's means of transportation. You're also giving your child life skills that could help him or her. Do you understand? So that if he's in a estate and perhaps that he works in the shopping mall inside the estate, or he works in the salon, or he works in the company, in the furniture shop, he needs to cycle. So if you can, I know it's difficult sometimes, but keep on, even from the age of 3, you can use a tricycle, you can use a bicycle by the age of 5, 6. Keep on teaching till they learn it. But if your child is an adolescent now and it's already too late, it's difficult. Now, just try and see what can happen. Okay, but at least crossing the main road is very, very important. So you sing it, you use phones, you use computers to teach them means of transportation. Please take it very, very easy. You can also teach them how to use visual schedule. If you're in the house and you need to get to the market and you've been doing it with your teen or with your child, you can bring out, okay, see the picture. We're in the house now. From the house, we're going to cross the National Stadium. After the National Stadium, we're going to cross this. And after this, we reach the market. This schedule is very, very important. So that by the time that you can even put on Google Map. Because as you're driving, the Google Map will mention the names of the street, the things you're seeing sometimes. So it enters their brain in case they need to get there or somebody is taking them there, they will not get missing. You know, some of our kids are very, very smart, very smart. They even know how to use Google Map. One of them told me, Doc, I can use Google Map. Tell me how he learned it. He taught himself. So use it often so that they can learn. There's no knowledge. No knowledge is lost when it comes to our special needs children. So you have to be consistent in that. Don't say, oh, after 2 weeks we'll go use the taxi or this. Let's be consistent about it. Go out with them. Because when you're old, you won't be the one doing this shopping. So that even if you get a house for them, when they have finished secondary school, they're in their 20s, you get a house for them and they're with somebody. For how long will somebody go and buy food and buy things for them? They need to learn how to be street smart and move around. Do you understand? It's very important. So you have to also help them, give them rewards by the time they learn all these street signs. You know, some have seen 1 or 2 that could drive. But of course, before you drive, you need to understand your emotions. When you can't be driving and get angry, and you know, in Nigeria, as you're driving, somebody will just tell you something, and or some people will reply back. You need to teach them regulatory mechanisms, how to calm yourself down, how not to reply to anybody, knowing the street signs, knowing all the road signs is important, even before they learn how to drive. Because I'm talking positively. Nobody knows tomorrow. It's not every child with autism that might not be able to finish secondary school. But for those that can go ahead, that can finish, go to higher institutions, even go for vocational training, anything you can teach your child, start teaching that road signs now. Even if they are not driving, they can learn them. Is very, very important. Okay, so yeah, they have to understand distancing. Okay, all right, from here to Otako Market is very far, because they might say, oh, I want, they said it's in Otako Market. You know, Otako, it's far. Oh, I want to go to Jabi Mall Lake. Oh, you know, Jabi Mall Lake is far. They begin to know the distance, learn the kilometers, or go to the shop inside the estate, go and buy this. is very, very important, okay? And at the same time, if your child has certain medical issues that could affect their transportation, for example, seizure disorders, some of our kids with autism do have seizure disorders. So they need to learn. It's good for them to carry a tag in their pocket that says, I have autism and convulsions, or autism and seizures. In case you see me lying on the floor, if in case you see me convulsing, put me on my left and let me be calm. Then call my parents' number, call this person number, call the nearest hospital, take me to the nearest hospital, or you put a number there. These are for safety reasons. Very, very important they carry those tags. There's nothing to be ashamed. You have to let them know, let them have confidence and be proud of themselves. So dear parents, I wish to tell you that transportation is very important when it comes to transitioning. You can't just do without it because they need to move around to access facilities that they need in life. So please, please, please teach transportation, and don't forget to get into our social media handles, Defeat Autism in Nigeria, Facebook group, and OLG Health Foundation and Autism Center. Like us and also tell us other means we can use to improve transportation transitioning in our special needs children, especially those with autism. Thank you, and you have a nice day. Bye bye.